From all around. This is Frontline and we are going to be doing a stream. You may notice that we are not doing this at the normal time. We did it a little bit later because I have been at a film festival is what they are called. So theoretically this should be live and theoretically you should be able to watch. So hopefully that is all good. Unfortunately, on my channel I have to watch an advertisement before I can hear my voice, so I don't know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. I will announce on Twitter that I am, and on the Discord that I'm streaming. Send now. Yeah, it's like I'm able to do that now because I just learned that yes, in fact you are able to hear me. So that's good. We theoretically shouldn't have any of the problems we were having before, mostly because we don't have face cam in the top left-hand corner of the screen, which is a little unfortunate. I feel like I will want to fix that in the near future. But for now, we are streaming and everything is good. Or at least theoretically, it should be good. So, yeah, let's actually do this thing. Act as though a bunch of people are watching. No one's watching right now except for myself, so people will probably come on here in a bit, and we will be able to really get things started. So I guess one thing I could start off with is just like a recap of the last stream. The last stream technically was my quote-unquote first stream, but it was more of a test stream that turned into a kind of a stream. Because I was basically trying to test that all my panels were working, like that when I switched things, everything wasn't going to like do weird stuff. Unfortunately, it actually did quite a bit of weird stuff, so we were able to fix quite a bit of that, mostly by just getting rid of the face cam. I mentioned that earlier, like in this stream, but yeah, it's like that is a little bit unfortunate, but I mean, what can you do? It's like, I think it's my internet connection. It could be just the lack of power on my computer, but I don't know. That's one of the things if once I like track down what the problem is, I'll be able to do a face cam. I probably could just test a face cam right now. I mean, I don't think anyone else is currently watching, so probably now would be the best time to be trying to test a face cam. We'll see. I kind of want to get this little bit here done. When it's nighttime, that means that the mycelium can't spread to the dirt, so it's a lot easier for me to be able to do this whole entire ground shifting over from the mycelium to the grass. If you don't know where we are, we're in the gaming district Craftaway, which is a nice little pun that I made. It's a half pun. It's kind of more like just a clever word play more than a pun, but yeah, it's like I really enjoy this place. I hope that more people will be able to create lots of various creations on here, and that should theoretically be pretty cool. So it looks like the sun is rising. We do have a second viewer from what it seems like, or well, technically a first viewer, because I probably shouldn't count as a viewer, I'm the streamer. But yeah, last stream we did have Klautos about, so it'd be nice if he could come by here again, but if he is busy, then of course he doesn't have to. Hello, Shadow Gamer, how are you doing on this fine night? I see that you have joined the awesome little stream that we are doing on Craftaway here. It hopefully isn't going to have as many problems as our last test stream, mostly because this isn't a test stream. This is actually the real deal, that we are going to be able to just get the whole entire ball on the road. Or why do I always use the phrase incorrectly? It's get this show on the road, or just get this ball rolling. I like combine them into a really weird idiom that doesn't quite sound correct. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well on this night, if you ask me. I just came back from a film festival, which is the reason why this stream did not come out at 3 a.m. GMT. It came out like around 3:40 a.m. GMT, which is Arizona time. That's 8:40 p.m. on Saturday instead of a Sunday. So it's pretty cool. It's yeah. I don't know. I biked a lot of stuff. What's Craftaway? Craftaway is a gaming district. So right now we're on the Craftaway realm, which is a YouTube SMP realm. A lot of us like stream on it as well. But this right here, like this is just a small section that has various games and all sorts. Like this was built recently by Sunfire, one of the people on the realm. It's like a basic Connect 4 game that works with concrete powder. Over here is like a game I created, the Strip, where you try and strip away the other person's logs while you try and get as many of your kind as possible. It's basically like a an oak versus birch type of a game. Ghost Ships is actually a ride. It's probably my favorite thing in Craftaway because you don't have to do anything. You just kind of ride in a boat. You get to see like the whole entire story there. Maybe we can ride that a little bit later, but for now I think that it's best that I just end up going about and just moving a lot of the because this used to be a mushroom biome, I'm changing over all of the mycelium like this into grass. So that's kind of the plan, at least as of yet. Down in the description, I do have like other things that I almost kind of want to do, but we'll see if I have time to do them. Like if I look down here, we want to make more progress on our base, which is a dark oak forest. I'm going to try and make it kind of like a enchanted forest in a way. So hopefully that ends up being able to get a little bit more work done on it. I need to just grab a bunch of dark oak wood and build trees and plant trees so that they can grow naturally. I want the whole entire thing to just be like covered in basically like what a dark oak forest should be. I think the dark oak forest should like literally just have a roof on top of the entire thing, like no light shining through, very dark, mobs can spawn there, all that kind of stuff. It's just like a really dangerous place, kind of like Mirkwood, if you know the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, that kind of like a idea. But yeah, we have a lot of changing to do here to get a lot of the mycelium. I've done most of it, but we obviously didn't transfer all of it over as of yet. And yeah, we need to be able to make sure that this place is fully functional so that people can build wherever they want to instead of only where the grass is and have to terraform themselves. Anyway, so have you actually seen any Craftaway episodes yourself, Shadow Gamer, or have you just basically popped onto Twitch and saw a Minecraft stream and decided to pop on? Either way, it's alright. I enjoy new faces on the Craftaway community, and we're just able to create lots of content and show it to you guys here. Oh man. If you can't tell, I'm like actually like really tired from my day. I've basically like been biking for a straight 3 hours. That was my schedule today. But yeah, I'll be alright. I think this is like already allowing me to relax and rejuvenate myself in the end. Just a nice way of replacing a bunch of the mycelium with some grass, chilling in a stream, being able to talk to myself. A very nice combination, if you ask me. Oh, and now hosting me. That's very nice of you. Thank you for that. let's go ahead and continue this. Basically, my strategy, if you don't know, is that I am trying to make sure that the mycelium is not able to spread to like any pieces of grass. So I normally like cut it off in this kind of a way so that the mycelium isn't able to go and head over. I can do that. Be able to just make it so that some areas I have bordered in grass and others I just fill in with dirt so that I don't have to silk touch every bit, because grass is a commodity as of yet. It's not really a commodity in all servers, but here it's a little bit hard for me to gather up this much grass that I can actually end up making this whole entire place filled in. It like breaks my shovel a lot to be able to do that whole entire kind of a thing. But yeah, it's all pretty good, all pretty good. If you don't know, this is Minecraft Bedrock. It's not the Java edition of the game. That's just what Craftaway is. Did I run out of... I think I ran out of grass, which is a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to have to just fill this in with dirt for now, just because otherwise it's not going to be able to be... I'm just not going to know where the grass or where the dirt was and where it wasn't before if it grows over. So yeah, I think I can replace maybe some dirt areas. I don't know if we have very many other dirt areas that I can end up doing. I could end up just grabbing some grass around, replace that with dirt, and then we'll be able to continue going. So it's a server for content creators. Yes, that is correct. This realm is a basic like 10-player can be online at one time, which isn't really a problem for most server or well most content creating servers. Right now we're basically primarily on YouTube, but some of us do end up streaming from time to time. I know that Sunfire often streams. He can like sometimes stream from Craftaway. He sometimes also streams from World of Solitude, which is a Java-based server. And yeah, we're just able to create lots of varied content with our nice little group here. So I'm going to use my shulker box to actually like get rid of some of this mycelium stored away. Am I able to put some probably into this miscellaneous box here too? And yeah, let's actually grab this stone, because the stone should really be with the other piece of stone there. I don't know why I keep collecting these eggs. I should probably just dispose of them, but what's the fun in that? So now I can go ahead, grab these guys. Let's just replace all of the dirt in here. And then now we have a bunch of grass. Now we have a bunch of grass that we're able to go ahead and use in other places in the mushroom biome. It's also funny how spiders spawn around here too. It's like there's various like spider spawners underneath the ground. I feel like it's very likely for spider spawners to be around like more than zombies and skeletons. But I don't know. I really don't know what the likelihood really is. But at least in the gaming district there seem to be a few. I mean, I've only seen one, but it feels like there's supposed to be a few if they keep spawning like this. But I guess that's not really here nor there. Oh man, this is just a nice relaxation from my stressful day. So I might as well just go ahead and start ranting about that. The main thing that I did today was I biked a lot. Not only that, but I ended up going to an international film festival. So it's like the... basically, I'm just going to start with the biking. It ended up being alright biking to there, but the biking back was a little bit stressful. I'm going to sound like I'm a complete idiot who just bikes wherever, but I ended up not. I don't have any lights on my bike, and I would not suggest to anyone to bike without lights on their bike, especially at night, or I guess only at night. I mean, maybe if it's overcast or foggy, you would also want to have lights on, just whenever the conditions need lights, that kind of a thing. It's just like, in my case, I didn't realize how late I was going. Well, I did realize how late I was going to be staying, but I didn't plan ahead. And I like realized halfway through my screenings that I was all like, oh, wait a minute. I'm literally in a black shirt, and I'm planning on going ahead to like the film festival. Like back, I was like heading back to my apartment basically, and it ended up being that, man, like, it was so stressful. I was like so afraid that I was going to be like run over by a car or something. I almost am certain that I got like close to that point. But yeah. Anyway, towards your remark about how many subscribers, it's like, it's not necessarily like too big of a deal how many subscribers you have. The one thing about it is just that it's like we're not really looking too much for new members at the moment. Whenever it comes down to it, it's not like we really accept very many applications. We normally just end up we end up scouting. So if we find someone in our community that we're all like, okay, we kind of like their Minecraft content, they've been producing regularly, it's like high quality stuff, that's normally like our guidelines to being able to decide whether that person would be eligible to join the server or not. I think that we're going to like abstain from letting on anyone to the server until season 2 as of the time being, but of course that's subject to change. It really depends on who the person is. If we really think that would benefit the server, that's just kind of how we do it. That is just kind of like the reality of it. It's just really on a case-by-case basis. There's really not a guaranteed, like, ooh, you reach these requirements, so now you're going to be able to join, you know? It's just, there's a lot of factors that we consider when it comes down to it. I guess I can actually, like, do this now. There's not, like, the block lag that used to exist inside of Minecraft Bedrock, where you have to, like, place one block at a time and stuff. I can just hold down the button and just go side by side, which is really awesome. I really like how that change happened. But yeah. Let's go ahead, grab. Do I actually? Oh, I don't actually have any more dirt, so I guess I have to use grass now to fill in a lot of the stuff, meaning we're probably almost done working in this district. Apparently, I didn't have as much grass and dirt as I thought I did for some reason or another. Like, I guess I just thought I was going to be able to like stay here for a lot longer, but I don't know, maybe that was just me thinking that, oh, I have a lot more resources than I actually do. At some point, I really do gotta like harvest a bunch of grass. If I harvest a bunch of grass, that's like awesome. I'd be able to just do this whole entire thing for days. But that's unfortunately not exactly the case at the moment. And I have to basically like go ahead and search out grass, which is not traditionally what happens. Normally, people like just have like giant like stashes of dirt from like all their like terraforming projects and stuff and that kind of a thing. I just don't really dig out the ground all that much. I like preserving the ground as it is. So to go ahead and like get rid of like a bunch of this area, it's a little bit hard. It's like I don't have an excess of grass or an excess of dirt. Both of those things are necessary for me to be able to work in this whole entire district. Everybody likes dirt. There's a lot of people who like, well, maybe. It's hard to say. It's a block that's very iconic in the game, but maybe it's one that gets overlooked, unfortunately. Like, a lot of people end up just stashing it away and almost like not really use too much of it. I mean, normally like a dirt house is what people build at first in the game, but yeah, I don't think that very many of the big builds like to have dirt. Although I do like terraforming; it makes things look very natural. It's definitely a terraformer's friend. But anyway, let's see, how much do we have? So we do have like a little bit. I think we'll end up replacing some extra areas, and then we'll just kind of go ahead and move to our next plans on the realm. So if I go ahead and do perhaps a ring around, well, there's already a ring around here, I guess. I could probably just end up using all of this to make dirt instead of just grass. But yeah, sand really is a pretty nice block. It's actually like really clean. It's one reason why a lot of people use it for their sugarcane farms. It's not because sand makes sugarcane grow faster. Well, some people, I guess, want to think that it makes it grow faster, but it really does make like things look clean and nice. It's a nice palatable block that can even be used in like big builds, and people wouldn't question it or anything like that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and actually like take a drink of water, so this won't take long. I'm just going to pause this for a little bit. All right, there we go. So the reason for that is like I have been, I mentioned it before, but I have been biking, or I biked for 3 hours today. Basically 3 hours. I think it might have been a little bit less than 3 hours in the end, but it's basically 3 hours. Oh man, I am so, well, my legs are tired. My expression and my attitude is not tired, but in the end, my legs, oh my, they're killing me. And my throat, all that working out basically has made my throat a little bit parched. So if I end up going ahead and just drinking a bit here on stream, that's the reason why. I am just trying to recover. Let's see here, 41 blocks of grass, and then we will be done with this area, and we'll be able to just go ahead and move to different projects here. Oh man. So where was I in my story? So first of all, I was like talking about the idea that I almost got ran over by wearing a black shirt and having no bike lights at night, which, like I said, I do not recommend. I do not recommend anyone to do that. It is a very, very bad idea. So after doing all of that, let's actually just talk about the journey. Like, instead of just talking about how my legs are dying, let's talk about the things I did enjoy. Well, first of all, I am a relatively, well, I say relatively, but I'm actually like a pretty extremely passionate environmentalist. Like, I try to conserve water. I try to make sure that I turn off lights when I'm not using them. And today, instead of driving over there, I biked for an hour and 20 minutes each way to get to a film festival, which, if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. And that was actually a really cool experience, like being able to just go ahead, at least in the morning. The morning wasn't the terrifying part. It was the night that I was like literally like terrified for my life, that I was going to like maybe get run over or something like that. But in the end, it ended up that I went to like 3 restaurants. In the morning before I even embarked on my journey, I was just like, okay, I need breakfast so that I don't like starve on my bike ride. So I went to IHOP. I got a country omelet. It was really awesome. It was actually so awesome. Well, I guess you could argue that it wasn't awesome that I didn't finish it, but in reality, it was just that it was like so much. It was like 1,000. They have like 1,000 calorie omelets, so I was able to save half of it, get a to-go box, and that's probably going to be my breakfast tomorrow. So already I got 2 meals for the price of one. Later on, I went to the movies. I'm going to talk about the movies a little bit later on in the stream, but after I was done with my first movie, it was like, okay, now it's lunchtime. It was like about 1 o'clock, I think. I think it was about 1. I don't know the time frame. Today went by like crazy. I know I'm like going past everything without explaining things because I'm almost certain that you haven't actually seen Craftaway episodes like this. We were at the Nether Hub. I created the tunnel that leads from the Nether Hub to the gaming district, and Conniption Fit is the one who's building this path here. That he's trying to decorate these areas. He's put in the placeholders for now, and he actually what it's going to look like later on is what this is. This is like the fully decorated area with like jungly foliage and having like cocoa beans and all that stuff. This is like the main portal that leads to Spawn Town, but that's not where we're going to be working on for now. So let's continue on with the story. So that was a bit of a tangent. It ended up being lunchtime, and I went to Raising Cane's. I'm not sure if you know what Raising Cane's is, but it's a really awesome chicken restaurant. And chicken is so awesome. It doesn't even leave that big of a carbon footprint, so I'm not even guilty for eating that or anything. It ended up being... it looks like we only have 1 viewer, so it looks like I'm talking to myself. But that's alright. I'm still going to continue the story just in case someone's rewatching this later on. So, I ended up... what was it? So, Raising Cane's. It's a chicken restaurant that... it's really good chicken. It's fried chicken, so maybe it's not for everybody. Just people who can handle the different... what is it? The different... I'm trying to think. I lose my train of thought too easily when streaming. The chicken's really good. I like the secret sauce. I don't know what it is, but it's like a sauce that you're able to dip your chicken tenders into. I just got the cheapest meal, and it still filled me up. It was really great. A great service. I didn't even have to put away my trays or anything like that. It was just they went to my table and they were all like, "Hey, you're done with that?" And I was all like, "Yeah, I am." So they just put it into the garbage can for me. It's a really cool place. It's just a really cool. It feels like a family-owned place, even though it's actually a chain restaurant that you can find in various kinds of states. But anyway. So that was really good. That was after my first movie. Ended up timing out perfectly, so that what was it? I ended up going to my next movie started about 20 minutes after I had finished my meal, which is perfect timing. It was right by the movie theater. I ended up just first of all watching the movie, and then it was not really dinner time, because obviously it was just 1 o'clock, and that movie, once it was done, it was around 4. Was it around 4? I actually kind of want to look at my ticket stub, because I'm almost certain that the next movie started around 4:50. My last movie that I saw. Yes, it did. So, that movie actually ended around 3 something. 3... 50, I think it was. It was about an hour. Right there, that was really cool. So I was able to do that. It wasn't quite dinner time after that movie. Wait, it wasn't my last movie because we had eaten, seen the first movie, went to lunch, seen a second movie, and then we ended up going to eat at what was it? It was Jason's Deli, I believe, which was also, it was all right. It was a really good Reuben sandwich that I had, but at the same time, it's not. It wasn't an experience that I was completely satisfied with. I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on what I'm going to be doing Craftaway now, because I want to actually like put away all my stuff and actually like be making progress while I'm talking instead of just rambling on looking at chests. Because obviously you guys probably want me to make some progress in this stream, so yeah, I'll keep that in mind. So it ended up being that that was all right. I went to my third movie, and that was my last movie. I did 3 movies with my student discount. I was able to end up getting those 3 movies for $33, $11 a movie. It was, which actually saved me $9 because 14 is the actual price of the whole entire experience. What do I need to do here? I'm trying to like half focus on this, half focus on other stuff. So I have the cyan shulker box. I'm going to put the egg here, all this stuff, and I kept a spruce boat. I gotta remember like use that next time I get to the gaming district, which probably won't be too long. Well, I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'll deal with it later. So let's go ahead and grab some of this stuff. I think that all of this I can grab for myself, and whatever is in the shulker box, I can just end up putting that into the storage system. If you don't know what this area is here, it's my automatic storage system. It works half of the time. I think that sometimes it like doesn't quite sort the items correctly, and like they end up being in my miscellaneous chest area anyway. But I think that's a quirk that happens no matter what. Or at least I think it's a quirk that happens no matter what. I'm not 100% certain. But it could be the way I implemented it. Who knows? Yeah, that was like my food experience. It was really awesome. I might be getting hungry later on in the stream. I have no idea. I'm planning on streaming until probably 10:30. I want to at least do like a 2-hour stream since normally my streams are supposed to be 2 hours. I normally like or at least my plan is so that they start around around 3 a.m. GMT on Sundays. For some reason I didn't remember my schedule, but yeah. Ooh, what's up, son? We're just hanging out here. I was talking about my experience with film festivals today and nearly dying. If you want to check out that story, you can check out my stream archive. It's going to be uploaded to Behind the Frontline. But for now, we're actually getting into the good stuff. I was actually saving it for people to show up. So this is actually like impeccable timing that you show up. We were talking about that kind of stuff. Yeah, at the film festival, let's actually like try and focus on what we're doing here. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm on task in Craftaway, and then we'll be able to talk about that. So it's what I'm good at. Haha, yeah. Just impeccable timing all the time. Let's put away my diamonds. You're getting a slight sneak peek into my next episode as well, by the way, since I bought like a couple shulker boxes. I actually like bought some potions from your shop. I don't know where to put them. I'm just going to put them into my miscellaneous whatever chest. into my chest that has valuables, but they're not that valuable. Like, it's kind of a weird chest in the end. I'll put away some of that stuff and all that kind of thing. I'll have my Frontline's Fortune and my protected chest. Nice first sale. Yeah, it was the first sale. I noticed that like there was no one else who was like buying stuff. And I did mention in the episode that it ended up being that your shop, I mean, it's a good shop, I'll admit, but it's not that hard to brew my own potions. It's mostly hey, I resent that those are premium potions. um, the, it's not that hard to brew potions though. Your potions, like especially the strength ones. I mentioned that if they were all renamed Potion of Strength, I would have bought the entire stock. But they weren't. They weren't potions of stake. They were just normal potions, and you can't just expect me to just go ahead and buy potions that haven't that I'm able to get because I mean all they require is blaze powder. You know, it's like we have a blaze farm, unless I guess you end up throwing all of the blaze rods into a fire, which I guess would be a fun concept for destroying the competition. But you didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me. So what was I going to get? I was going to get some dark oak saplings because that's actually something else we need for this project. I think most of my saplings are over here. Yep, we have a bunch of dark oak saplings. And I'll go ahead and also grab some bone meal. We have a couple of bone blocks and that kind of thing there. So, I know, yeah, it's more convenience. Wanted to make something that worked with good feeling. Funny that you say, I plan on... Oh, you do plan on renaming them all. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I just said I was going to, buy the entire stock of you. I'm not... I guess it's recorded, so I can't really back down too much, but I might buy some. I probably don't have enough money to buy the entire stock, but I might buy some if they are called Potions of Strength. So, yeah. Apparently some of the spruce trees have popped up, so I'm going to do that. I'm also going to just try and get the forest a little bit more good and all that kind of stuff. It's on stream. Can't back out now. I don't know what to say. It's like I guess I don't know. We'll see. If not, don't take it personally. I just I can't. I don't have the money. I have a bunch of 51 diamonds, but I don't have the willingness to use up all my money. Is really what I'm trying to say. Nah, I guess I'll buy them all. If you do that, I'll try it, but it's going. I'm going to buy it with very much reluctance and bitterness. So, yeah, we'll see that. Okay, story time. I wouldn't hold you to them. 51 diamonds is enough. Yeah. Let's try to focus in a little bit more here. So I went to an international film festival today. I mentioned that earlier in my test stream that I was going to go. I didn't really announce it publicly too much because, well, first of all, I don't really want people to know that I'm going to be going to a film festival just in case they want to follow me there. But, I mean, well, I don't probably have that big of a following for that to be a problem. So maybe I'm a little bit paranoid. Well, of course I'm paranoid. But the main thing is the films. Let's just talk about the videography element of the films. And let's actually go ahead and put some stuff into my miscellaneous box here. Or actually, it can go into my wood box because I actually do need a little bit more in my wood box. A little bit more, not much. I guess it's filled now, so that didn't really do much. The videography element. So the reason I really went to the film festival was because I'm kind of getting more into videography. From my channel update, you may have known that I have been trying to basically create more scripted content, and that's kind of the content that I'm really the most proud of. It's weird to say, Craftaway, I think I've started to go ahead. Benefit of New Zealand, there's 5 people here. That's I guess that could be a way of being paranoid about having people follow you and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, on my train of thought, videography, like after like I started really producing a lot of Craftaway content, I kind of started to realize like, yeah, I am actually creating a lot of like I'm using up a lot of time to create these episodes, so it's not like I'm really like what's the word, ashamed that I'm creating like Minecraft content. In fact, I'm actually like becoming more and more proud of it. It's just that I think that my family, I wouldn't make them sit down and watch a 20-minute craft or even a 30-minute Craftway episode. I normally like content that like my grandma would actually be able to watch and be all like, oh yes, I have a channel. And obviously whenever I tell people I have a channel, they're all like, ooh, I want to see your content. And then they see it and they're all like, oh, this isn't the type of thing I watch. And I don't hold them to that, but obviously I kind of like being able to appeal more towards a general audience. And in some ways I don't, because in my videography scripted content that I have done, yeah, film stuff is cool. Thanks, man. A lot of the stuff I've done, it's a little bit odd, especially my stuff that's based on like Halo Reach and that kind of thing. Like that kind of stuff I like, but it's obvious that it is a little bit older of a medium. Like, it's so easy for me to do Halo Reach because I don't have to I don't have to hire actors anyway, but I don't have to like schedule it so that my friends can be actors all the time, and I can just create content super easily in that kind of a way. So that's just like one of the things that I like about using Halo Reach, is that I can go ahead and have like people like nodding their heads and stuff. Recently, I think I can do that in Minecraft now. I couldn't before because I only had my Xbox. I couldn't record off of my PC at the time. So it ended up being that my train of thought always gets thrown off in the middle of sentences. It ended up being that I just didn't do Minecraft content like that. The World of Blocks was an exception because there weren't any actors. It was literally just me filming a Minecraft world, which was awesome. It was a very good project to do, and there are phantoms. I'm going to sleep now. So that's just like my film experience. So the idea of going to the film festival, that was a very large tangent, but I'm bringing it back. The film festival is supposed to give me inspiration to be able to create a lot of my scripted content in that kind of a way. So it ended up being that I saw 3 films. The first one was The Devil We Know. The second one was, I have to look at my ticket stub to actually know the title of that one. Unfortunately, that one was one that, it was a good film. It was a really good story. It was just like, unfortunately, like not that good of a film that like really stuck with me. It's called Every Act of Life, and the next one was called The Beginner. Although it wasn't actually called Beginner because it was a German film. It's an international film festival, so I saw basically 2 English films and 1 that was German. I really wish I saw more international films. I was like actually kind of sad that my schedule only permitted me to see like basically like English films, and then only 1 that was across the pond. And yeah, it ended up being all right though. So let's go into the merit of the first film. The first film, The Devil We Know. Oh my, I loved it. Des Beginner Time. I don't think that's what it actually was called, but that kind of a thing. Yeah, it was made by a female video or not video, director, female director. She actually did a Q&A at the end, which was actually pretty cool. I asked a question, but I'm half convinced that she didn't understand at all what I was saying. It's probably half my fault and half just like she's never been asked that kind of thing before. Like I asked her like why she was like carrying around a camera, and I guess she thought it was like so natural for her to be carrying around a camera. She like went all like, oh yeah, it's like I did like a lot of camera things inside of the film, and I was all like, I did some stuff on tripod, some stuff on like handheld, and I was all like, yeah, that's not really my question, but whatever. I guess I got a little bit of insight, and I also got a little bit of insight on the fact that the camera angles actually changed throughout the character's development. I feel like I should rewatch the film at some point to be able to really capture that. It was the only fiction film I saw that day. It ended up being that the two English films actually were both documentaries, which was something I wasn't expecting. I thought that the second film was a film that was based off of a true story, but wasn't actually like a documentary. That it turned out to be. So, it was a welcome surprise. That sounds like a Star Wars quote. Like it's a surprise for sure, but a welcome one. And it ended up being all right. It was about a Broadway producer, a Broadway playwright is the actual term, who was revolutionary for social rights. Let's not get too much into those films. I want to do a linear story here. I was going to talk about The Devil We Know. The Devil We Know is a film that the videography merits of it. Oh man, it was awesome. It was honestly my favorite movie of the day that I watched. I didn't even recognize your response that it's cool that you get to ask questions. Yeah, it was cool that I got to ask questions. I just wish that she understood my question. So, let's go back. The Devil We Know was a really cool film. I don't think that it should be a surprise to anyone that I am an avid, like completely avid environmentalist. I was ranting on earlier that I literally biked an hour and a half each way to be able to get to the film festival because I didn't want to take use any kind of motor vehicle. And well, I mean, it was also two reasons. I can't say that like that was the only reason. The other reason is that I would have to pay to like go in a car. So there was like it was influenced both by money and by my environmentalism. So the film itself was kind of about environmentalism, but it was also mostly about like really kind of a sad a tragedy that's happening in the US right now, that at the beginning of the film I was thinking, oh, this is like something that happened before and it's not happening anymore. Nope, it's still happening. Like the company completely got away with it. It was a film about like, what was it called? C8. C8 is a chemical that's in 99% of everyone's bloodstreams in the entire world. And it's the same compound that's used for, well, used to be used for non-stick pans. So the non-stick pans that were in place like from basically like the 1950s and like 60s, they used C8. And like the company knew that it had defects. I'm not going to get too much into it right now, but it's like they knew that it had defects, but they ignored it for years until a lawsuit in around 2002 brought light like the concerns that people had with it. Let's not get into that. Let's get into that later. Let's get into the videography aspects, the stuff that I came to the festival to do. I really liked it. That's why I stopped wanting to do environmental law. It's basically whoever has the money. Yeah, that's half true. It's like, well, it's also true. It's half and mostly true. It's one of those things that is like kind of sad, but it's something that we kind of have to recognize as consumers if we're going to ever be able to make a impact in our environment. I'll get into that later. I went off on a tangent. So, as I always do, I do that a lot. So, before I get into this rant, I need another water break. I took one earlier in the stream, but I'm going to do one again, so this won't take long, just a couple seconds. Okay, so the aspect of the videography, I really liked the different methods it used. The most primary one I saw in the film was the use of music. Music was a key factor that basically drove the film. Like, it had moments of sadness, it had moments of like intensity. The intensity moments were the ones that I noticed like immediately, that I was all like, okay, the music here is speeding up. And I'm not sure if it was composed that way or if, say, it was like just actually manually sped up in post-production. But either way, whether it was like, well, either way it was intentional. But if it was actually like done when the music was written, or if it was done when the film was made, either way, it is something that ended up like making an impact on the mood of the film. Like whenever like it sped up, it was like accompanied with like flashing images on screen, just flashing images that were all like really in quick succession about like the different like court documents and like the various cases, and having like lawyers and stuff, and like different like all that kinds of stuff all at once. It like just crescendoed all the way to this point where your heart was pumping, and like that kind of emotional response is just something that like I can like very much appreciate as like a filmmaker. Like that is something that is just really cool whenever a filmmaker is able to invoke that kind of emotion on a person. Let's move this block to where it should be. There's a lot of Endermen who ruin the landscape around here, unfortunately. I am also going to have to be wary that I need to actually light up a lot of this area just to make sure that nothing wrong happens. Like, I want it to be really dark and dim, but I also don't want to make it so that creepers can just spawn everywhere. So, yeah. The path is already lit, but obviously I need to make it where the path isn't, that needs to be lit too. So, anyway. That was one of the videography aspects that I really liked. I'm trying to think of like the other things, because that one was like the main one. That was like the main one that I was like noticing immediately. Hey, look at that! There is a creeper who just spawned right there. Although it is becoming night too, so I can't think of any like on the top of my head. So let's just move to like the next film. That was like the main aspect of that. Like there was a lot of like music moments. Like when the music was slow, it like invoked a nice like sad response in the viewer. When it was quick paced, obviously I was like talking about like that pump 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 kind of a feeling. But yeah, it's like that's just the that's all I can remember right now of the film. I really need to rewatch it, but that's for a later time. Maybe if I come up with something in a bit here, I will share it. But let's just move on to the next film. So the next film was called, I said it earlier, I think it was like Every Walk of Life or something. It was something along those lines. The film itself, when we actually went to the film, we were able to vote on which film we liked more and all that kinds of stuff. Like, it's basically a pseudo competition. So I voted 5 for the Devil We Know. It was like something that I was just like not expecting to be such a great film, and ended up like exceeding my expectations. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Was I trying to get my sword or something? I don't know. Oh right, I was trying to get bone meal, but I don't have bone meal anymore. We'll work something out. So, in that film, so the last film I rated a 5. This one I rated a 4, mostly because it was a really good story, but I think that the videography lacked a little bit. It was a good documentary, and I think that the message was very important, but the integration of the whole entire aspect of just the music and trying to make it so that there's like a cohesive narrative and message at the end of it all. Like, it was there, but it wasn't strong. So for example, the entire time there was just basically like calm music in the background, very, very calm music, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there was no times that there was like a climax. Whenever there was like a struggle, in many bone meals, I might go there. You know what? I might go there now, just so that we're not doing nothing here. I mean, I'm trying to terraform a little bit, but obviously it would take a little bit of a long time for me to get all the grass that I need to be able to do everything. So I will head over there. Having the basically everything be slow means that there's nothing that really stands out. The music is supposed to be more compelling wherever you need the message to be more compelling. That's what I've learned over time from various films and stuff. You need to be able to invoke emotion through every medium, through visuals, through audio, and through message. It's weird to say that the message is actually the least important, but in a film, it kind of is. I mean, it's important to have a good message. You need a good message for it to be good. If you have the music and you have the what was the other thing? The visuals, but not a good message, it's a bad film. But if you have a good message and you have a not really as great music and not really as great visuals, it's an okay film. It's better than being a terrible film, but it's still not as good as being a great film. I was almost about to go to the game. Oh, that was something I completely forgot. I actually have a spare boat in my inventory that I forgot to put into here. So good thing that I remembered that. So we'll head over to the bone meal farm here. So that was basically my take on Every Act of Life. I think it was called Every Act of Life. Let's look at my ticket stub. That's actually kind of a funny story. I actually almost didn't have the ticket stub because when I was at the it is called Every Act of Life. When I was at the booth, they ripped off the ticket before I entered the theater. They're supposed to rip it off at the theater so that they can count however many people actually see that particular movie. But it ended up being that because it was ripped, I had to hand the stub over to them, and I was like, am I able to just keep it anyway? And they were all like, well, we need to count it beforehand, but if you come to me after the film, I can give it back to you. So they were really nice about it. I was able to keep my ticket stub anyway. I have a nice little memory memento for that experience. And yeah, that was basically that whole entire thing of videography. Let's move to the last film, The Beginner. The one that was the only fiction one I saw, which I'm actually going to be mostly doing fiction at one point, and I might do it in the future, but I don't know. I doubt it. Well, it's kind of unfortunate to doubt it, but it's just that everyone I know who is part of the documentary that I would film are all scattered across Arizona and across the United States. So it'd be extremely hard to get them all in one place to, record interviews with them to make a documentary. But maybe in the future, maybe if I get enough money and I get like really motivated to make it, I will. But the point that I was trying to make is that I'm likely not going to do very... is this a spoiler? Let's just go past all of this and go ahead to the skeleton grinder over this way. And yeah. So the point that I was trying to make before I got to that tangent was the fact that I'm not really going to be doing very many... well, I'm probably not going to be doing almost any documentary films. What, this is what you call many bone meals? Man, I expected better of Suncorp. Just kidding. But it's alright. So it ends up being that when it comes down to it... That's from my episode that came out today. Okay, that's good. Unfortunately, I haven't... I'm like way behind on everyone's videos, so don't take it personally that like I haven't watched a lot of these episodes yet. It's like I'm still watching videos that came out 2 weeks back. So nonetheless, I'm going to be mainly producing fiction pieces. Oh, that's broken. I'm mainly going to be producing fiction pieces, so it's not going to be a main thing that I'm going to need to worry about to nonfiction, but it's a good thing to keep in mind. Like the music and stuff is... Someone's robbed me. Yeah. I would AFK there a little bit longer, get more bone meal, but we might as well just stick with this amount of bone meal and then we can move on to different projects later on in the episode. So anyway, man, my legs are so sore. I'm going to be producing mainly fiction content, so this last film, The Beginner, is the one that's going to take the most inspiration to me. There's tons in storage, stacks of bone blocks. Would I be allowed to take those bone blocks? I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit until you give me a yes or a no. So The Beginner was cool. It was a really interesting film. It was about a woman who is a really bitter person, and she ends up rethinking her life and ends up trying to figure skate. And yeah, that's basically my synopsis of the film without diving too deep into it. And the videography was cool. As I mentioned before, I did like gain a little bit of insight in like the whole entire like every moment when they were using either a tripod or they were using a like just handheld. There was a methodology, or is it mythology? I feel like it would be methodology, but nonetheless, there was like a gather in the chests marked mob drop. Okay, so I'll be able to grab those. It was done on purpose to mob drops. Yeah, it was done on purpose for me to. I'm just going to take this. I mean, there's tons. I'm just going to take half. I feel like I'd feel bad if I took too much. Already, like 31 bone blocks is probably more than enough for me to take anyway. So that'll like provide me a tons of bone meal for this whole entire thing. Like yeah, the using like handheld and using tripod, like there was idea to that. I keep methodology. Yeah, that's what I would think. There was times that I think the thing I learned most from that was characterization through the scenes. Like, not the actual acting, not like the dialogue. It was from, well, of course there was also I can't say that there's no characterization from dialogue and like all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that like the thing I noticed was that it was really awesome, the integration of characterization through props and through like backgrounds, like having like stuff like different signs in the back. Like one, well, there were actually two moments, but one of them that was like the first one that happened in the film was basically as the woman was going into the ice skating rink, there was like a clearly marked sign that like showed a picture of a dog and a like basically like a no dog sign, like, you know, like if you're imagining a cross, well, not a cross, but like a circle that's red with a red line with a slope of -1, which is an interesting way I described it. But basically that kind of a sign where it's like marked no dogs here, and she was walking her dog. She just like completely like ignores it. Like there's even a person who was in the office that oversees the ice rink, and she even like make eye contact with the guy and ends up going into the ice rink anyway. So already there shows a little bit of characterization that she's like a person who really doesn't care about like norms and being able to follow the rules. She kind of like makes up her own rules in some ways. And yeah, it was just like interesting concept to be able to have that much characterization just through props and that kind of a thing. It was just interesting. It's hard to describe too much. I feel like if I went into a full analysis, I would be able to give a little bit more insight. And like if I was watching it again, and I'm probably going to buy the first and third films. I don't think that the second one was good enough for me to really buy. It was a good experience for me to watch, but not really something that I feel like it would benefit me to analyze. From my first watch anyway. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if I actually change my mind. But it might grow on me. Ended up being that... where was I going? So, I'm analyzing the third film that I watched, The Beginner, with the English subtitles, with the film actually being in German. So yes, it wasn't in my language. I had to read subtitles, like forbid that thought of having to read in a film. It was definitely a what was like another videography technique, because I don't really want to go into analyzing it too much before getting into the videography aspects I really love about it. It'll come to me again. It's just like the first film, where for some reason the first film, like, I really loved it, and yet like I can only think of like one example of it. It's like videography techniques it used. Maybe that's also like another thing to keep in mind, is that the more I love a film, the less I'm remembering what in the world I'm trying to analyze with it, and what I am trying to think of how the artist is interpreting their points. Like with the first film, I got so into it that I at points forgot that I was supposed to be looking at various aspects of it all, you know? Do you actually like know German? Like, what's that mean? Let's go to Google Translate here and see if it actually butchers the translate, or if it ends up working. To eat my cartoons? To eat my potatoes. That's funny. I think you spelled your word wrong and it ended up saying to eat my cartoons instead of to eat my potatoes. But yeah. Anyway, let's let's go ahead and end up continue on here. I just had like a tangent there. So let's go into analyzing the film. But before we do that, another water break. I've mentioned time and time again, I've biked for um, I've biked for 3 hours today. So me being tired and me being thirsty is something that is unavoidable. So let's do that in just a bit here. All right. So let's get into things. I mean, unless you, well, I've already basically committed to doing this whole entire thing. I am so passionate about this whole entire thing. I mean, I basically spent my entire day, an entire personal day, to be able to analyze this kind of stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? So for The Devil We Know, I could probably, yeah, gotta get that hydration. I could probably rant on about The Devil We Know all day long, and that's not an exaggeration. So let's actually get more into it. Like, I gave you a little bit of a preview. I probably gave you more of a preview than I did for the other two films, if I'm being completely honest, maybe just because I'm a little bit more passionate about it. But the main thing, I'm not sure if that tree should be there. Actually, I'm not sure if any of these trees should be here, because I know that I kind of want a lake here. I'll see. let's plant trees somewhere that I know there's not going to be a lake, so that I don't end up planting trees where they don't need to be. The Devil We Know is a film that, let's just give a summary, shall we? First of all, DuPont is a company that created the well, they didn't create it actually, which is an interesting thing, but they are the company that really like did a lot of stuff with it. So DuPont created a non-stick pan with a chemical called I said it before, C8. Chemical C8. I mean, it has different names. One of them's like P8 something. I don't know, something like that, where it's like a four-letter acronym. And it ended up turning out to have like not actually it did. There's a lot of stuff. Do you need any Suncorp instant water? You just add water. Is that possible? are you able to create my lake? I mean, I'd appreciate it, but at the same time, like, I don't want to burden it on you. Plus, it's my base, so, I mean, I might be the one to create it anyway. But I don't know if I guess I gave you like the coordinates that I want, or at least like the general idea. Maybe I don't know if that's what you're talking about. If not, well, sorry for imposing it on you, but yeah, nonetheless. So what I was talking about, DuPont used a C8 that was actually manufactured by 3M, believe it or not, like the guys who make sticky notes. And 3M wasn't really a better company. I'll get into that a little bit later, but DuPont was kind of like the main like corporation that really took the whole entire manufacturing of the substance to extremes. In 2002, I have those water tiles. Oh, that's true. Oh, I wasn't thinking about that. You do have like the water tiles. Yeah, I might have to look into that. But anyway, so yeah, that wouldn't be too hard to fill in, I guess. But I don't know. I might end up just terraforming the lake area. I'll see what happens when it comes down to that. But anyway, it turned out that the chemical of C8, they had known it since the 50s, or well, probably since the 60s. I doubt they actually knew it like when they started manufacturing it, but after they did some tests, and it turned out that when exposed to rats that were pregnant, it had birth defects that would arise inside of these unborn children. And that was originally what the bad part was. There was like a whole entire cover-up that they tried to have by sending all of the female workers home who were like working on the chemical at the time, so that they would be like less exposed to it, which in some ways isn't a bad thing per se. But the bad part was that they cared about their employees, but they were still manufacturing it to the consumer, who had no idea that it could have these birth defects. And they had this like interview with like one person, he had birth defects. He ended up kind of, yeah, his a pretty messed up chemical. It actually gets worse, but I don't know why I'm laughing, but it does get worse. It ends up being that the one person they interviewed, he ended up having a not necessarily a normal life, but he was very lucky. He was lucky in the end because he didn't pass on his genes to his son, and he was a healthy child in the end. The man who did have the birth defects, like his one eye was lower than the other, who was born with only one nostril, and that's not really what you want your non-stick frying pan to be able to do, you know. No one actually asked for you to be able to do that kind of stuff. Oh, it's been fun. Okay, yeah. I can understand that. I should probably be resting myself. But yeah, I'm nonetheless going to continue my story. So if you want to finish the story and all that stuff, this episode will be uploaded to Behind the Frontline as soon as it can be. It turns out that I'm able to upload it actually pretty soon when I integrated the account with Twitch. So be sure to look out for that. Subscribe to that channel so that you can be able to see all my stream archives. But for now, later on, man, it's been a good time. I'll continue on my story so you can hear it later. So the chemical, I'm going to try and cut this short because like I said, I can rant about this all day. It not only had effects for the unborn children of women, but it also ended up causing like various forms of cancer, various diseases are linked with it, and the water was willingly being pumped out into what I believe was the Ohio River. I just wanted to cook eggs easily now. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think that like no mouth was really a birth defect, but that I get your point. That it's like yeah, it's very much like a weird whole entire like concept thing where it's kind of unfortunate how long it lasted, since it's been going on since like the end of World War II, really. But I'm not going to get into that too much here. I like I said, I can rant about it all day. Skeleton. So Turns out it had like lots of diseases and stuff. Long story short, the people of the area in which the plant was, they ended up actually suing the company, which was amazing, especially since the company since then had been considered basically like a part of the community. Like they donated to the community. Like whenever something wrong happened in the community, like they would like donate money and like support the firefighters and all that kinds of stuff. Like from the surface, they didn't really seem like an evil corporation, but like in the end, the community like realized later on that there was a clear link that proved that, well, they didn't know that at the time, but they saw weirdness that was with the whole entire manufacturing of it and being pumped into the water and all that kind of stuff. So they ended up doing a giant research study. It's actually like the biggest research study in the history of science, I think. Well, it's the biggest in scope of volunteers for being able to research a chemical. So there have probably been bigger research studies, but this one's like the biggest in that like they had to like take blood samples from like a bunch of residents like infected, and well, I guess almost everyone was infected at the time, but still, it's like from various different residents and stuff. It ended up being that the research study took like 7 years to conduct, had like over like 40,000 participants. It might have even been over 70,000. I forget the exact number, but it was something like within that range. And the jury decided that they needed to like that there was a link between it, so thus created the ability for anyone who had like a disease linked to it, they would be able to sue DuPont. The unfortunate thing is that they rolled out C8. I mean, that's not unfortunate. I'm getting to that. The unfortunate thing is that when they replaced the chemical, they basically replaced it with Gen X, which is kind of shady in itself. I'm almost certain that they called it Gen X because that's also the name of a generation of people, so that people who would actually be looking up Gen X wouldn't see the bad effects of the chemical. They would just see the like posts about that generation of people. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And then they created a knockoff company that is actually producing the Gen X products because DuPont isn't producing it anymore. So they basically, in layman's terms, got away with it. They didn't really, like, the company didn't fail. They didn't learn their lesson. They're still, like, trying to, like, they're basically just trying to make lots of money. And I think that they really should be trying to research more into getting a chemical that doesn't hurt the environment or hurt people. But I guess it's hard to make a non-stick device that is safe for the environment. So that's that. The analysis I had of it was actually pretty compelling. Like the way that they constructed their argument, it wasn't clear from the beginning whether or not the case would pass or if anything would be good in the end. Especially as the years got closer and closer to the modern day, I like kept worrying. I was all like, don't tell me that they actually got away with it, and they did. It's like, oh man, seriously. It just ended up being that there was a call to action at the end. If you go to, what was it called? Like the devilweknow.com. they have like all sorts of information of like what you can do to make sure that your water is not contaminated and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, yo, what's up, Link is cool. We're talking about my experience today with the film festival that I went to, as well as the fact that we're streaming on Minecraft Bedrock on the Craftaway realm. So now that we've made lots of progress on the base, I'm probably going to... Well, I was going to show off various builds and stuff, but... oh, thanks for the host, man. I'm kind of curious as to what I'm going to do now, because I kind of ran out of saplings. I could probably grab a little bit more, but yeah, for now, let's just head over to the spawn town, maybe collect some dirt, and we'll keep on talking. So, to those who are new to the stream, I am Frontline from Allies All Around, and I am right now... You're on a realm. Yes, I am, in fact. This is the Craftaway realm. It is one in which a bunch of YouTubers get together and record content. Some of us stream. Right now, I am able to stream this server. I'm probably not going to do it every week. I'm going to vary my games a little bit. But every Friday, I do create a content or a episode on my YouTube channel, Allies All Around. And that kind of a thing. So I was going to head over to Spawn Town. And yeah, what we were talking about was like, basically, it was a rant because I, for my entire day today, have gone ahead and gone to a film festival, which is pretty cool. I really liked the film festival. And, oh right, I forgot that there was a giant spider here. It ended up being that I watched 3 films. We already talked about the videography techniques that were in those films. We talked about The Devil We Know, which was like a environmental documentary about like things that are still inside of drinking water today. I won't keep on talking about that for now. I think I've pretty much exhausted that topic. YouTuber looking for something my subs would like. The one thing, if that's like a relative asking of whether or not you can join the realm, unfortunately, I don't think we're really looking too much for other people right now. I mean, if you join the Craftaway Discord, which I might have to link in the description here. It's again not a guarantee. We're not really looking for people at the moment, and you have to be creating consistent Minecraft content for a while. We'll scout you out. We'll be all like, okay, can this guy like benefit to our realm? Is he creating really awesome content and that kind of a thing? And that's pretty much like our process. We just are able to choose people in that kind of way. We don't really have an application process, you know. But nonetheless, if that was your question, that's like my basic answer. If you are wondering about what kinds of things your subs would like, a Minecraft series is pretty cool. Like, you could always try and like start up a realm and create that kind of a content. And yeah, anyway, I've been ranting on for a long time. This will take like maybe 20 seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and like drink some water here. I biked for 3 hours today, so obviously I'm very dehydrated. So yeah, be back in just a second. Okay. Good, we're back. So, what were we talking about? So I was going on about the 3 films I watched. The next film that I watched was called Every Act of Life. It was a really interesting one. It was basically about a Tony Award-winning producer or playwright is the actual term, who ended up being able to create very controversial plays, honestly. Like, he had many that, like, toyed with the ideas of, sexuality and, like, kind of, like, expressing that kind of stuff. And it was very progressive for its time, especially since it was, like, he started, like, pretty early, like 70s and stuff. Like, I don't know exactly the date, but yeah, that was like, it was a very interesting documentary. And it has a powerful message that's like, the artist can't just sit back and watch as bad things happen to ordinary people, and he has to like stand up for those who don't have a voice in society. And that is a very powerful message. I really like that. But the film itself, I just think that the videography techniques were a little mediocre. Like, I mentioned that before. It's just that it's like the message is something that I support, and that's basically that. So that's really all I have to say about that about that movie. Like, it is pretty good, but that's basically the idea of it. The next one was The Beginner. The Beginner, I really liked it. it was a. It's hard to compare The Devil We Know to The Beginner because they're both completely different films. But it ended up being that I think I like The Devil We Know a little bit better than The Beginner, just because it like links to my life and all that kind of stuff. If you didn't know what we were doing up here, I think we were just trying to like give a little bit more life to here. Unfortunately, it's like really hard to make an attic feel occupied and stuff without, especially like the chests and things. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The Beginner is a fiction film, and The Devil We Know was a documentary. So to compare them is a little bit unfair, but The Beginner was a really good film. It was about a very bitter woman, a very, very bitter woman who basically was bitter. And, well, at the end of the film, she kind of still was. She didn't really change that much, but she did learn some stuff. It ended up being that her husband left her, and that ended up being like a call to action for her to actually like change something in her life. And she decided to try figure skating, which is an interesting thing to do, especially since she was 58, I think it was, that in the actual film she said she was. It ended up being that she was able to learn very quickly, and the amazing thing is the actual actress also had to learn very quickly. Like, the actress was not an experienced figure skater, so like her learning how to do stuff was genuinely her learning how to do stuff. So yeah, that was a very interesting like concept to bring to the film screen there. There was like themes of the idea that you should you're never too old to try new things, and that's like something that society normally doesn't like to tell people, but in many ways it still remains true. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm super old yet, so I don't really have too much experience with all that kind of a thing. But yeah, it's just the matter that of that. There's the themes that like she like basically there was like this relationship between her and her mother. They kind of explained her attitude a little bit more, that she kind of hated the world mostly because she, for her whole life, she is known, has been hated by other people, been like criticized and other kinds of things, and she doesn't believe that she can be like accepted by anyone with her like failures in figure skating when she was very young, that she immediately like quit later on. Well, she didn't like voluntarily quit, but that's another story for another day. Um, in the end, like it was just kind of like a sad thing that in the end she was able to get her second chance. There was a bit of redemption. There was also a second pseudo main character that was like a young girl who was adamant about being able to be a professional figure skater in the solo ranks, but eventually she learned that the loneliness that comes with that position is not actually that great. So there was a lesson to be learned there too, that you really should do what you enjoy. If you enjoy being able to compete and all that kind of stuff, like that's what you should do. But she was like pressured to do it because that's all that she's known. And eventually she just learned that by quitting and joining like a group figure skating area, that was a lot better for her. But yeah, that was a very long rant. Very much a basis for which I had like my film festival. I learned a lot today, not only about videography, but just lessons that the film tried to convey as well. And yeah, it was pretty nice. So let's loop this back to the Craftaway realm here. We are just heading around here trying to look for some dirt, mainly because we are trying to go ahead and replant. Well, we're trying to do a lot of terraforming projects. The main one is that we're trying to go ahead and end up changing over the mycelium from the gaming district over to grass over there. So we need to get a lot of dirt so that we can end up digging away that kind of stuff. Sub to your YouTube channel. Oh, thanks, man. That's very kind of you. You did. I guess it isn't really too hard to find anymore. The channel actually used to be called Frontline Game, and it would never show up first on search results. By searching allies all around, it is actually a very unique title that I'm very glad shows up, so that people are able to go ahead and see that kind of thing. But yeah, so I was going to grab lots of grass to be able to change the mycelium over. And the second thing is that in our base, we also need to terraform lots so that we can build lakes, we can fill in creeper holes, and do all kinds of other stuff in the server here. Or I guess the realm. I sometimes call it a server, even though in reality it is a realm, and there is a difference between a server and a realm. I almost fell into the lava right then. Let's go ahead and like grab a little bit more water. I'll be back in just a second here. All right, so that was the last of my water, so hopefully I don't need any more of that. If I do, I mean, I can refill it later, but I won't. I'll wait to do it after the stream. The stream, by the way, will probably end around 20 minutes from now. I think is a good time, because I started the stream around. Well, I know I started exactly around 3 a.m. GMT Sunday, and right now in GMT it would be 5:20 a.m. So by going to 5:40 a.m., that's a 2-hour stream. I think that that's a pretty good amount of time. Already we've basically like talked about the main things that that I wanted to talk about with the film festival and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, So, what do you guys think, or what do you guys want me to talk about, or maybe even like what do you think about my commentary over the film festival? Because obviously it's not at all related to the content that I'm or the video that I'm making right now. I'm trying to build lots in Craftaway and all that kind of stuff, and I often get a little bit sidetracked in my own endeavors. It was just that today, literally the entirety of today was me at the festival, and I wanted to talk about it. I thought that it was like a pretty cool experience that I wanted to share with you guys. So this was just a really easy way for me to do that without having to make a extremely long behind the frontline video, that kind of a thing. So anyway, I think we... Oh no, my inventory is not full. I thought it was, but apparently it's not. So we're able to just keep on grabbing lots of dirt. I mean, we do have some empty shulker boxes, so I should be able to go ahead and grab some of... or use some of those so that I don't have to go ahead and have a full inventory without being able to pick up all this dirt. And I want to pick up all the dirt. There's a lot of dirt here, and to not have a bunch of dirt would be very, very unfortunate. Let's go ahead and grab lots more here. Yep, it's like, I'm surprised that I haven't actually gone ahead and grabbed all of this dirt and all that stuff, just because of the fact that I normally do. I normally or at least I have. I've grabbed a lot of dirt from all of these caves. Like, there's very few of these branch mines that I haven't gotten all of the dirt from already. Since I've been basically harvesting it basically only for the dirt. Although if I find diamonds or something that's really worthwhile, even this iron, I think iron is a valuable resource that I should be able to get. I fell. So let's just go ahead and pile up. I think I have some gravel. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick block and do that. Oh right, I don't have food. I forgot about that. Yeah, let's try and find our way out of the cave. Let's try not to sprint as much as I can, so that I can actually get out of here without ending up being a goner, basically. I want to make sure that I'm pretty cool. It's hard to find a streamer that plays Minecraft Bedrock. Yeah, I haven't really looked too much into finding too many Minecraft Bedrock streamers. I mean, I know that Sunfire on the Craftaway realm does play it from time to time. There are also other people who often stream from the Craftaway realm. I think Bullybait's been trying to stream, but of course his schedule is spontaneous, so it's a little bit sad that he's not able to do it all the time. But yeah, it's it's appreciative that you appreciate that I am being able to produce this content. It definitely warms my little heart that I'm actually doing a little bit of something right. Although I'm not going to be doing Minecraft Bedrock all the time, next week I am, because next week I think I'm going to be doing it on the Craftaway community realm, in which members of the Discord community are able to go ahead and join the world themselves, and all that kind of thing. And apparently the skeleton's still there, man. So I'm curious as to work with that. All Craftaway members on the community realm can access creative mode. Other users cannot. So there's a little bit of exclusivity, that kind of a way. I need to get to the cow farm down here to be able to get lots of steaks. So, nope, it's not that. Craftaway for life. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What was I talking about? I was talking about the Craftaway, oh yeah, my plans for the next stream. That theoretically should be my plan for the next stream. I think that'll be a good idea to go ahead and do all of that kind of stuff and things. I think that's clear enough inventory for now. At least I can deal with that. So yeah, I was going to do the community realm there. I'm not going to be doing Minecraft Bedrock content all the time because I really want to do some other games too. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic is a game that's actually going to be coming out on my channel pretty soon. And I think that my third stream is going to be covering that. I don't know what my fourth stream is going to be yet. I haven't really, I mean, I probably shouldn't plan that far. Oh, I do need to go to the other thing because I need to grab some wheat. Okay, I'll go ahead and harvest that now. And then I'll be able to go ahead and get some of my steaks. So, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon is a game that I really love. It's honestly a really cool feat of engineering and game design because it was all written in assembly language. And you might not know what assembly language is, but it's basically like if you imagine like the difficulty it is to like program a normal game. Imagine having to execute like 10 commands per one command that you would normally have to do if you were programming in a high-level language. That's what assembly is. And the fact that he was able to program it all in that like primitive, well, not primitive, but near primitive language. And he basically needed to be able to make it run on old systems of the day that couldn't handle like a lot of the high-level languages at the time. Like, it was just a total feat of engineering for him to be able to create that kind of content. Like, I still, it boggles my mind to this day that like it was such a good game. And it was basically created only by one guy, by one guy. So, yeah, that's just my computer science rant for the day. Yeah, so I'm going to probably stream a little bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Basically, it's the version of Roller Coaster Tycoon that got re-released for mobile devices, then got released again for PC, so that it's basically like a remastered version in which it combines the best aspects of the first two games. And I hope that people like it because my episode hasn't released on it yet. My episode on RCT Classic is going to release this coming Wednesday at 1 p.m. Or no, not 1 p.m. 3 p.m. GMT. I changed my schedule. I actually normally did 1 p.m. GMT, but now I don't. So that's going to release. I'm hoping people like it. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Maybe eventually I'll do other games on this on streams. But it's probably mainly going to be doing some stuff on like the Craftaway realm. Sometimes it might be me doing a adventure map if I ever feel like doing that. Obviously, I had plans for doing the community realm, which I think will be pretty cool, and all that kinds of stuff. Are there any baby cows at the bottom here? It doesn't look like there are. So yeah, unfortunately, someone used this place wrong. And that you're supposed to breed the cows before, or you're supposed to breed the cows after you end up killing all the cows in the chamber below, so that people don't have to wait for their cows to be fully developed. But, I guess I can be the person who just breeds up all of them and then waits for people. So that's just kind of how it's going to be. I'm still completely starving. I feel like I almost need to like harvest some of the carrots from the farm just so I have a little bit of sustenance. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, how is your night tonight, man? Like, have any like projects that you're working on, games? Like maybe you, from what it sounds like at least, maybe you like play Minecraft Bedrock and that you're doing like some stuff in that kind of a way. Because I definitely have some projects planned myself for Craftaway, like my base, and being able to work a little bit more on the Craftaway gaming district, or the Craft-to-Play gaming district, I guess I call it. But yeah, that kind of a thing. A lot of the plans I have are, I'm trying to kind of keep them remain as much as a secret as I can. I normally don't want to spoil my videos too much to the point where people know exactly what I'm going to be building, and there's no like surprise in the end for whatever is going to be produced, you know, that kind of a thing. Lots of breeding cows. Yeah, it's almost the end of the stream. I'll do it for another 5 minutes. Like I said, it'll be like around like 5:40 a.m. in the UK, which is kind of funny to think about this. Like people are starting to wake up right now in the UK, and yeah, I'm probably going to be going to bed right after this. Although not after or not before taking a shower, because I need to shower. I've like been like the 3 hours of biking I did going to the film festival. If I don't know if you were here when I was, actually you were here when I was talking about the film festival, weren't you? But I guess I didn't tell about like the biking. Like it was basically like 1.5 hours each way, and it ended up being that my legs got so sore. They still are sore. I'm almost certain that when I wake up, I'm just going to be like having to like pull around a wheelchair everywhere. I mean, it's going to feel like I need to have a wheelchair everywhere. It's probably not going to actually be like that bad, but nonetheless, it's going to be quite interesting for me to get up in the morning and actually like walk. So yeah, that's just interesting. So because of that, though, I was sweating a lot. So I'm probably going to take a shower and then go to bed here. So hopefully that will be a pretty good plan for the whole entire thing. I kind of want to wait for like the cows to grow up, but I feel like that'd be boring for the end of the stream. So we're just going to head up. We're going to harvest a little bit more. See if we can get baby chicken. Nope, we can't. And then create or be able to eat some of the crops that I have produced here. So already some of the wheat is growing. I'm able to just like get some of this. I am also using a silk touch axe, so I'm able to get like the full pumpkin or the full what are they called? Watermelons. Or I guess they're called melons, not watermelons, but they're basically watermelons. You know, that's what they're designed to look like. I have like silk touch on it so that in the end you can trade them with villagers. That's really the point. So we have a lot of melons here, and we'll see if I ever actually like really decide to go with that and be able to trade lots with that. But for now, let's just go ahead, worry about the potatoes. We're not going to eat the potatoes for now. We're just going to go ahead and plant them back. And then we'll probably eat the carrots, because carrots don't need to be cooked with potatoes. They do, well, they don't need to be cooked, but it's a waste not to like cook them before eating them, because it like saves you so much like hunger bars to be able to do that. So I'm just going to keep it as raw potatoes and be able to eat these carrots. So I'm only one little hunger bar going to work my way up in the world, and oh, there we go. It's perfect filling of the bars. Didn't even have to waste any carrots during that entire process. That is a good feeling. But yeah, going to plant all of these back. If you're wondering who built this whole entire thing, oh, actually, I don't know either. Now that I think about it. The point I was trying to make was that if you're wondering what this thing is, this is like something that's a remnant of the old days of the server, where people would be able to go ahead and have like a community farm for food and stuff. I still use it, so I'm like the one who has organized all these chests and made it so that it's like easily accessible to the public. Like you can see that like I've stocked up a lot, like the carrots and potatoes, just in case like anyone wants to go ahead and like grab a lot. The wheat, unfortunately, I haven't really been farming too recently, so the wheat hasn't actually been a main thing of mine that I've been doing. But yeah, nonetheless, I've been trying to stock that thing up. It's been there pretty much since the beginning of the server. It's been there at least for most of the server's history. So it's an important part of the Craftaway realm that is very awesome and it's very cool. So the cows still haven't grown up yet. I mean, I also wasn't expecting them to. It's about time for me to go ahead and end this stream, unfortunately. I would promise that the stream would go on forever, but that would be a lie. I just am very tired, and I think that it is best that I end up heading to bed after this extremely long day. So if you did enjoy this stream, consider following so that you can be notified of when I stream next. Also check out my YouTube channel, Allies All Around, for more content on the Craftaway realm. And until next time, I will see you guys all later. Bye.